When rumors started swirling about an Avatar The Last Airbender set, I prayed that there was fire to the smoke, and there sure was. Avatar is one of, if not the best children's cartoons, and in general, one of the best pieces of fiction of all time, at least in my opinion, of course. Now, I must admit, I did not grow up with the show, and I did not watch it as a kid. But I did watch it when I was older during COVID, and I fell in love with the show. The characters, the story, the comedy, the world building, everything about this show was great. So, being able to see some of the beloved characters be put into one of my favorite pastimes was a dream come true. But have the cards met the hype? Let's find out. But before I fully indulge into the spoilers, let's talk about some of the new mechanics coming with the set, the bending styles. Earthbending effectively lets you animate a land and return it tapped if it dies or is exiled. Firebending gives you red mana equal to whatever you bended for, and the red mana can only be used in the combat phase. Airbending temporarily exiles a permanent and allows the owner to cast it for its mana cost or for 2 generic. And waterbending is effectively convoke and improvise for an ability, but they only create generic mana as opposed to convoke having the option to create a colored mana in the tapped creature CMC. I like these, and I feel like they make sense in regards to the source material. That is, except for waterbending. I think it's a great ability. I really do think this is a fantastic effect. But I just struggle to see the connection to waterbending like the others. I'm sure the goal was to relate it to the fact that they can pull water from anywhere and everywhere, but it just didn't really click with me like the others. Now, do I have a better idea? No. No, I do not. Ultimately, the bending effects were pretty good, and I do think WotC did great. Diving into the actual cards, I'm going to start off by listing some cards that deserve to be mentioned, but I'm not going to go into as much detail as the others. I'm also only going over the main set, and not the Eternal set in this video. If you would like to see me go over some of the Eternal set cards in another video, let me know in the comments below. Aang's Iceberg, Southern Air Temple, Sokka's Haiku, Bender's Waterskin, and Longfang Grand Secretariat. Aang's Iceberg is an Oblivion Ring effect with some upside, nothing we haven't seen before. Southern Air Temple tells us a new cycle of shrines is coming, and will be centered around ETB effects. Sokka's Haiku is actually a haiku, and I love that. That's the only reason I'm mentioning it. Bender's Waterskin is a nice little mana rock that untaps on each upkeep. And Longfang goes infinite with Basking Broodscale. But infinites are lame, so there are no infinites with Basking Broodscale. Let's start off with 2 red cards, Redirect Lightning and Faded Firepower. Redirect Lightning is a 1 red instant lesson that says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, pay 5 life or pay 2 generic. Change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. Having another version of Deflecting Spot is really nice to see, even if it is worse. The flavor is also a win. Protecting your valuable assets will always be a great idea, and for 1 mana, I think this will make great waves in the Commander format, assuming Atla doesn't shoot up in price like Final Fantasy. Faded Firepower is X red 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 for an enchantment that has flash and says, this enchantment enters with X fire counters on it. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus an amount of damage equal to the number of fire counters on this enchantment instead. This card is really good for decks that ping for 1 or 2 damage multiple times. Niv Mizzet, VV, putting 2 or 3 fire counters on this can end games quickly. I could even see this slide into certain Goblin decks. Decks that just need that extra little push to close out games. Let's talk about our lovable furry friends, Momo and Appa. Momo is 1 white for a 1/1 that reads Flying. The first non-lemur creature spell with flying you cast during each of your turns costs 1 generic less to cast. Whenever another creature you control with flying enters, Momo gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This card isn't anything crazy, but definitely has a home in any flying deck. They will love this 1-drop cost reducer. It could also be interesting with specific Alayla decks. I know some Alayla decks really lean into that flying synergy, and buffing up Momo as you make fairies could be something that we see. Appa is the more interesting of the pair. Appa is 2 white white for a 3/4 that reads Flash, Flying. When Appa enters, airbend any number of other target non-land permanents you control. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. The way I would build this deck is by flickering Appa and exiling cards that have good ETB effects or, more importantly, cast triggers. I think Appa fits better in the 99 rather than being the face, but if you do opt to build him as a commander, even Interrupter could be a workhorse in this deck. Throw in a few cost reducers and you'll be cooking. And hey, if someone counters or kills or steals Appa, you can canonically crash out and be justified.
You muzzled Appa?
Sokka is the next card we will be talking about. He's red and a blue for a 1/1 that says, when Sokka enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Whenever you cast an artifact or lesson spell, put a 1/1 counter on Sokka. Being able to loot on cast and filter your hand is great, but the big thing is the second ability. Running this as a Voltron or just generic artifact storm will likely be most decks you see, but you can't forget about lessons. I'm not sure if lessons really have the support currently to be as powerful, but hey, maybe I'm sleeping on them. For only 2 mana, I think Sokka slides well into the casual commander tier. Side note, I love the flavor text at the bottom. He really do just be a dude with a boomerang, and we wouldn't have him any other way. I do hope we get a Sokka's boomerang that goes with Sokka. Let's talk about Toph. Toph might be one of the most unique and interesting cards spoiled so far. Toph is 1 generic, red, white, green, for a 3/3 that reads non-token artifacts you control are lands in addition to their other types. At the beginning of your end step, Earthbend 2. Naya Artifacts is fun. Red has some sneakily good artifact synergies. Green loves its lands and white exists? Jokes aside, I love white as a supporting color in most decks. The Earthbending ability is probably my favorite of the bending abilities because it just fits so well. It makes so much sense. And even if the land is killed, you just get it right back. Chromatic Lantern will be a great card for this deck, allowing your artifacts to tap for any colored mana. Another fun little combo is with Mindslayer. Earthbend it, sacrifice to take control of an opponent's turn, rinse and repeat. Though, Toph is probably the last person I trust to Bloodbend. Before this set showed any cards, I told my playgroup that I call dibs on Zuko. I don't care if the card is utter dog shit, I wanted Zuko. Luckily for me, Zuko, pretty good. Zuko is red, white, black for a 2/4 that says Firebending X, where X is Fire Lord Zuko's power. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, and whenever a permanent you control enters from exile, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. I hate having my stuff exiled. I never run any impulse draw like Ragavan or Prosper, but I am a man of my word, and this will be the deck I build. Red knows how to exile the top of your library, and sneakily, white does give you access to some blink effects that return permanents from exile. You'll want to make sure you run a few flash options to really take advantage of the firebending ability. You can run the deck in a lot of ways. Voltron to make the most out of the firebending, go wide to take advantage of the mass counter distribution, or even Spellslingers to, once again, take advantage of the mana being made from firebending. For all the cards that say firebending, a card like Horizon Stone would be a nice addition to the deck. Let's talk about the 2 Katara cards. I was originally thinking of only talking about one of them, but I love both of them. Katara the Fearless is a green, white, blue for a 3/3 that reads, if a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Very simple, but very powerful. Allies are finally getting love again, and this set is full of them. Doubling triggers is an extremely strong effect. Ondu Cleric, Kabera Evangel, and Halimar Excavator are some notable triggered effects for allies. The only issue that I see with allies is that a lot of the triggered effects are things that only matter to be triggered once, like gaining indestructible until end of turn. I hope as Atla gets spoiled more, we see more cards that will support Katara. Katara the Fearless is a great card, but I actually prefer Katara Water Tribe's Hope. She is 2 white, blue, blue for a 3/3 that says Vigilant. When Katara enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token, Waterbend X. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn. X can't be 0. Activate only during your turn. I am a sucker for weird decks, especially Aggro Azorius. I have been on the hunt for a Aggro Azorius deck that I love, and this might be it. Go wide and use a mirror entity type effect to kill your opponent? Count me in. She does cost quite a bit, and she certainly won't be CEDH, but this might be the other commander that I build after Zuko. Run cards like Bonds of Discipline to get in, and things like Thassa's Bident or Fire Main Commando to keep your hand full. Run these Odrix to really add some killing power to the deck. Heir Apparent could also be an extremely fun way to run her. If you're sleeping on this card, think about laying off the cactus juice for a bit. Look, we all know who is going to be the last to be talked about. It's Aang. I believe Aang was the first card to be spoiled for the set, and I actually had the luxury of being at MagicCon Vegas at the panel when it was. Aang is red, green, white, blue for a 4/4 that has flying and firebending too. Whenever you waterbend, earthbend, firebend, or airbend, draw a card. Then, if you've done all 4 this turn, transform Avatar Aang. He transforms into Aang, Master of Elements. He's a 6/6 that reads flying. Spells you cast cost Wooburg less to cast. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may transform Aang, Master of Elements. If you do, you gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4 1/1 counters on him, and he deals 4 damage to each opponent. Let's get into the front side first. I do not like that he has firebending. I really do wish that he had airbending since that is his native style. It is also incredibly hard to transform him. Obviously, you can run something like Moon Mist, and you should, but you're not guaranteed to draw that every time. But if you are able to do all of that, the backside is worth it. Reducing your spells by Wooburg is an incredibly strong ability, and really fitting for Aang. Side note, him reducing things by Wooburg does affect generic mana too. Aang differs from a card like Morphon because Morphon specifically says it can't reduce generic mana. The ruling is 118.7c if you want to go look it up yourself. The reflip ability is strong too, but I feel like you should just keep him on the backside. Run something like Fist of Suns or Joda Archmage Eternal to just cast everything for free. My issue with this card is the fact that once you build this deck, you're likely never going to be able to upgrade it again. The bending abilities are likely tied specifically to the Avatar set, and I would be shocked if WotC made the deal to be able to put them in their regular sets. Now, we might get, say, a Chorus set down the line, but the point still stands. This deck is going to be very restricted, and once you've seen one, you've likely seen them all. And to that, all I gotta say is,
that's rough, buddy.
Overall, I love this set. There are a lot of flavor wins and a lot of powerful, but not broken abilities. However, I must mention, I'm not sure if I like some of the art in this set. Not that it's bad, and I'm not dogging on any of the artists, but a few of them just feel a little off. The bonus sheet will have screenshots from the show, and if there is a Leaves from the Vine card on there, I will buy it, and I will cry. But that's all I've got to talk about today. Let me know in the comments below how you are feeling about this set, and if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe. This is Logan signing off. I'll catch you Scoop Troops in the next video. Goodbye!